to the best known church show, where we show you how to 10x your reach with church marketing that will help you increase your impact, make more disciples, and become the cornerstone of your community again. This is for the leaders with an outrageous vision, because anything less would be an inaccurate reflection of our Creator. The ones who have unreasonable faith, because you know God works unreasonable miracles. And the ones who are relentless in the pursuit of your calling, because anything less would not make a good and faithful servant. If that's you, you're in the right place. Now, please welcome your host and guide on this journey to become the best known organization in your community, Justin Nava.
Welcome to the Best Known Church Show, episode 80. I want to get more people coming to your church with this website strategy. If we haven't met, my name is Justin Nava, and I take full responsibility for you not knowing who I am. We are live everywhere. This is my first time trying to get live on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube. I think the only thing I'm not live on is TikTok. What's the latest on TikTok? I should know what the latest is, but I don't. I'm the founder of Nava Church Marketing. I basically want 1 million churches to be the cornerstone of their communities. I want them to be the best known in their communities. Doesn't mean you're city known, you're infamous in your city, but it does mean the people that God has called you to serve, you have planted yourself in their minds. Because today, everyone talks about the culture war. What we really have is an attention war. And I believe that the enemy knows that if your attention is on the things of this world, the things in its dominion, your attention cannot be on the things of God, and it will be harder to hear the Spirit calling you to Him. This applies to the people of His church that have already surrendered their lives to Jesus. It's easy for them to become distracted. We live in a world of falling away, deconstruction, losing the faith, exiting the faith. We live in a tough world. And it seems, even though I think it's been always this tough, it's just tough in a different way. It seems like it's become harder for the church to come alongside folks and say, we know that Jesus is the answer. We will help walk this faith with you. Instead, in the marketing world, we've turned church into the answer, which makes it easy for people to follow the tenets of the church rather than the founder of the church, Jesus Christ, the one who died for us, the actual sacrifice. So I believe that we need to help our community see Jesus as the answer, and the church is merely the vehicle. And that's what I'm going to step out a little bit to share with you today, is that even though you may have a website as a church, it needs to function as more than just an online billboard, an online road sign that says, here we are, here's what time we meet, hope we see you there. It can actually be a way to do ministry. It can actually be a way to show the power Jesus has in the lives of the people of your community, and how the next step for them in faith should be to connect with a faith community such as yours. So we're going to talk about how you can position your church website to get your guests to see what God has for them, get them to plan a visit to your church, and make it super simple using modern marketing method and what we've learned, and what we've been trained to, how we've been trained to act as a 2024 inhabitant, and using that psychology, using that habit that the world has built, and taking those patterns and pointing them to Jesus Christ. We're all created in God's image. We're all created to create. And so even though something may have been innovated in the world, for worldly reasons, that does not mean that we cannot use it to praise. Just because the electric guitar was created for devil rock, so to speak, doesn't mean you can't use it for praise. Just because air conditioning was created to make someone comfortable doesn't mean you can't use it in the church. And in the same way, modern marketing methods have been developed to try to make people money, to try to build businesses. We can use that methodology that's founded on the psychology that we were created to have, and use that to point people and bring attention back to Christ. So if you're watching this, like this, if you like this, if you think this is a topic that you'll like, and by all means, unlike it after the show if you didn't like it. And if you want to hear more about this week, we're talking about the apps you should have, the website strategy, going deeper into having a Christ-centered website. And what else are we doing on YouTube? How to just a quick tip on a good communication and request form. What should that look like? We're going to do all that on YouTube. So go watch it over there. Go like and subscribe over there. But today I want to show you, when someone does land on your website, how do you nurture them to plan a visit? The numbers that I see from clients that we take on, when I initially audit their website, to get one person to go to the plan a visit page, they need about 300 to 500 people to actually visit the website, which is kind of the same as like if you got a road sign and 500 people are driving by, or 300 to 500 people are driving by. One person said, oh, there's a church there. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Like notices you. Because just because they go to your plan a visit, I'm new, what to expect, whatever you call it, page, doesn't mean they're coming. So how do you nurture them to do more than just, let me see what's here? How do you get them to say, you know what, this is something I should do. This is something I should seriously consider. Nay, this is something I should go ahead and commit to doing. So how do you increase that? How do you get people to not only take action on your site? We'll talk a little bit about some analytics, some data that I see, and then our target numbers and the numbers that we beat on some websites, to be honest. Because ultimately, if you can wrap your head around this strategy that I'm going to share today, you're going to have more people clicking through your website, which is the same as going from, here's a church. What does this church do? This is interesting. I'm curious. I'm interested. I'm invested. I'm committing. Okay. Online, we call that click rate. How do you get people clicking through your website? How do you get more people to plan a visit? We're going to share about that. So if you, follow the strategy that I'm going to lay out today, you're going to get more people actually doing a plan a visit form, pop-up, contact form. And how can you get people to actually show up to your church? We're just going to touch on that. That's a whole different episode. So like, share, subscribe, help me spread this out. Because this is kind of I don't want to say it's a new way of thinking about church websites. But one of the things that we've been really honing in on is the fact that church websites need to be Christ-centered, not church-centered. They need to be focused on how the church is the vehicle to Christ and what can happen when you come to Christ, not what can happen when you come to church. Because I know a lot of people that go to church and nothing happens. I know a lot of church that go to church. I know a lot of people that go to church and they come out worse because the church is not the answer. Jesus Christ is. The church is the vehicle in which we live out our faith in community. So I want to make sure we understand this is not about making a byproduct of having a great church website is, yes, making your church look better, but it's making it look better as the guide to Jesus, not look better as in like, we're perfect. Don't you want to be a part of us? That's what's wrong with most church websites, is it's all about the church. It's all about how great we are. And then you wonder why when people show up, they don't come back because they realize in person how great you aren't. But if you actually point people to how great Jesus is, then when they do show up and they see a bunch of people, they don't leave because they're not there for people. They're there for a perfect Savior, not a perfect congregation. And if at any point, by the way, you have any questions, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, if you're watching on X, I don't think you can comment. I guess you can tweet at me. I may not get it though. Leave a comment. So let me talk about what I see a lot of churches do. And then you can determine whether or not you're doing this. Because I want to make sure that, I lost 165 pounds, but it took me a long, even though the scale didn't really consistently move until 2019, I've been trying to lose weight for decades. And it wasn't until I was in counseling when I realized that all the people that I've looked up in my life, my grandparents, my uncles, my dad, they were all overweight. I mean, obese, severely obese. So I was looking up to people thinking, well, it's normal for a dad to be fat and have all these problems in life. It wasn't until I talked through that I was like, oh, this is not how it should be. And I started my journey and I've lost 165 pounds. I'm literally almost 20 more pounds. I'll be half the man that I was. And you can do the math there. And so just because your church website looks like everyone else's doesn't mean you're on the right path. Just because you're doing what another church is doing doesn't mean that you're doing the right thing. Your church is uniquely equipped to uniquely reach a unique group of people. If that wasn't the case, every city would just have one church. We wouldn't be planting churches. We would just go join up with another one. But there is an unreached people group in your town, whether it was 50, 60 years ago or 50, 60 days ago, that caused your church to be planted. And if you're still open, there are still people that you are equipped to serve. But if you look like everyone else, you will be treated like everyone else. Meaning, if I've said no to every other church, I have no reason to say yes to you because you look like everyone else. So just because your website looks pretty good compared to everyone else's does not mean you're doing exactly as well as you should or as excellent as you should. And here's what I see what everyone does. They treat their website like a Cheesecake Factory menu. Okay, not to go all pastor preachy on here, okay? So y'all ever go to Cheesecake Factory and their menu is like 80 pages long? And the smallest part of the menu is like, well, I guess besides the diet part is the cheesecake part. And the Cheesecake Factory has everything you have. It's a fascinating story. I've only heard it. I haven't studied it, so I may get the details wrong. But what happened was there was a cheesecake bakery, and this guy really believed in what his mom was doing. But people didn't want to just come for cheesecake; they wanted some food with their cheesecake. And rather than come up with his own menu, he said, "Well, what is everyone eating around us?" He said, "That place has really good Thai food, so let's take their best Thai dish and let's put it on our menu. That place has really good Italian food. Let's take their best Italian dishes and put it on our menu." That's why when you go to Cheesecake Factory, they got Thai, they got Chinese, they got Italian, they got burgers. I think they got pizza. You get bread with it too. And then you also get the cheesecake. He also got tavern food. Like, he basically said, what are the best parts of everyone? And let's throw it on our menu. And that works for the Cheesecake Factory. It doesn't necessarily work for the church, because what ends up happening is, and this is the same thing I hear from people when I like the Cheesecake Factory. I'm like, let's go to the Cheesecake Factory. And they're like, no, because then I got to figure out what I decide what I'm going to eat. And then I'm just going to fill up on bread anyways. Just call it the Carb Factory. So as churches, we say, well, we're just going to throw everything up and hope somebody picks something. There is something for someone here. And that may be true. But just like the Cheesecake Factory, I'm only going to pick one thing. And I'm going to ignore everything else. With churches, though, we have a unique set of baggage that doesn't come with a restaurant. At least with a restaurant, we know it's a restaurant, so we know what we can expect. We're going to go, we're going to sit down, we're going to get bread, we're going to get food, we're going to get dessert, and we're going to leave. Everything else is details. With church, however, there is a certain amount of baggage that comes with it. So even though someone can feel that pull of God, if they log in and they see everything you're doing, they see a bunch of words that I don't understand. And I looked at a website this morning, it said, hey, this is a safe place. Okay, cool. I want a safe place. I click Discover More and it takes me to a page about their pastors. Is their pastors make it a safe place? Why are you telling me about the pastor? You told me it's a safe place. I want to learn more. Now you're telling me about the pastor. There's a mix up there. And what it is they're just throwing everything up to where when I go to a website, it's, are you new here? You want to pre-register advance, check your kids. We got events. Maybe you want to listen to a sermon. Maybe you want to worship with us online. Sign up for our newsletter. Come to first service, second service, join a small group, join a life group, join a serve group, join us on our mission trip. Our kids' place is safe. That's a weird thing to say. Why would you tell me your kids' place is safe? Is there something that shouldn't be safe? Right? Even when you're trying to promote everything you do, if you do it too much, you're coming on too strong. Add on top of that the church baggage that we naturally have. We shouldn't, but we do. Then, yeah, you're going to overwhelm people, and it's going to take 300 to 500 people to come to your website, and eventually only one actually plans a visit. So we need to tinker. We need to adjust the way that we do our church websites and treat it more like a guest ministry rather than an advertisement, which doesn't sound right coming from a guy who founded an organization called Nava Church Marketing. Okay, but marketing is just relationships. It's trust. It's building trust, authority, and credibility. And if you throw everything up, it means you really don't believe in anything. You're just hoping someone picks something. It's kind of like if I show up to church on Sunday morning and the guest says, "Hey, welcome. Are you here for church? Are you here to donate or give to the church? Are you here to sign up for the mission trip? Are you here for kids? You want me to register your kids? Are you here for the women's event next weekend? Can I tell you about our beliefs? Want to watch a sermon? We got to hear and hear. Say where you like." The best guest ministries when you walk into church that actually do a good job of being hospitable to you are going to guide you to what you need. And what you need is a place to sit. And yeah, they might ask, hey, how can we serve you? Where can we take you? But they'll see you got kids. Can I show you to our nursery? They'll see you have bags. Can I take some of those bags out? So the number one thing to do, and I preach this a lot, but the data still shows we have a lot of first-time guests, first-time listeners. So you have to answer this. If you do nothing else, know the answer to this question. What is the one thing that someone should do when they come to our website? If someone can only do one thing and one thing only, what is that one thing when they come to your website? That is what you build your website around. And by the way, the answer is not learn about our church. The same reason why, you give the gospel presentation. What's the one thing? I want them to learn about Jesus. No. You want them to follow Jesus. Even the devils have learned, even the demons have learned about Jesus. We want people to follow. And so learning about Jesus does not get people to your church. In fact, some of the reasons that people aren't going to church is because they have learned about Jesus. Your website is not about learning about your church. It's about getting into church, into your faith community, whether that's through worship, whether that's through groups. You pick one and you welcome people into it with excellence. Okay. If you've ever been a part or you are a small church, you know the difficulty it is to consistently and excellently welcome people when you have multiple entry points. I was at a church that had 2 entry points, 2 exterior entries for the kids ministry, 3 exterior entrances for the main church, and 1 exterior entrance for the youth ministry. There were not greeters stationed at every door. We didn't have enough of that. We didn't have enough greeters. And so what we had to do is we had to close down entrances, cone them off. We want to welcome people with excellence. We want to welcome with a consistency. And we want it to look like we want people to come in together. So let's all go in the same entrance. And if you do that, it generates a little bit of excitement, to be honest. I mean, we all want to come in at the same time in the same way. Everyone's coming in the same entrance. Therefore, everyone's loitering around the same entrance. Kind of builds some excitement, right? But if you have everyone coming in from it's very easy to slip into church. It's very easy to come in. Like, I'm a new person. I'm going to follow this family. Well, they're coming in a side entrance. There ain't no greeters there. Now I have no idea where I'm going. It's a bad welcome experience. So the same way with a small church, medium church, I mean, very rarely, you really have to be a larger church. I'm talking like 700 plus church to welcome people at multiple entry points. In the same way, your website needs to really drive people to one thing. And then that way you're prepared to receive new people with excellence in this one thing. And there may be stragglers, but they'll find their way through. I mean, really, let's be honest, they will. All right. If I go to a restaurant and I have a strawberry allergy and you don't tell me that you don't serve strawberries or strawberry based foods at your restaurant on the homepage, I'm going to find out if you have. I'm going to look at your menu. Okay. The people that want the details are going to find the details. Don't worry about that. Worry about welcoming the majority of your online visitors into a place where you can welcome them warmly in person. So, number one, what is the one thing you want your website visitors to do? Everything on your website needs to point to that. For most churches, it's going to be plan a visit. Come on Sunday. Join us on Sundays. Everything, your homepage, one button throughout your whole homepage, not one button only at the top. And then there's no other button. I'm talking about if you follow our Ultimate Church website homepage, it's for download for free, navachurchwebsite.com. You welcome them, ask them to plan a visit. You speak to their needs and address how Jesus is the solution through your church. And then you ask them to plan a visit or join on Sunday. Then you share about the ministries, but you don't drive them to the ministries. You drive them to the plan a visit page because they'll experience those ministries on Sunday. Then you might do a secondary. Hey, watch a sermon. And then you ask them to plan a visit. It's actually an advanced strategy to have more than one, what we call call to action on your homepage. I don't recommend it for most churches. Because the moment you offer more options, you will get more indecision. So you want to guide your guests through your homepage to take that one action. And anywhere else on your website, you want to guide them to that page. Let me see if I can pull up an example here. No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can show this one, I think. Let's go to ministries. And let's do kids. No, let's do this website. All right, I'm finding a client that I want to use. This is actually a good example for two things. Okay. So here's an example of a website. I'm going to try to turn my phone around for Instagram, see if y'all can see this. So, and then I got to share my screen here. Boom. Share screen. And boom. Okay. All right. It doesn't fit exactly, but we'll deal with it. And if you're listening to the audio, appreciate you keeping up with me. So I'm at a church website. There's a church in Texas. All right. Let's say that the primary thing we want people to do is plan a visit, right? We have plan a visit. Right there on the screen. I know it's kind of hard to see on Instagram. I apologize. All right. And then all throughout the homepage, we're primarily asking people to plan a visit. All right. Now, if I go to the About page and I learn more about it, and I'm like, oh, okay, learn more. I can actually see their story, their core values. Let me see their story. Now I'm reading about their history. I can see how they started as a plant and a house and moved buildings and where they are now and how they're serving people. And then, oh, look, what is this? Another call to plan a visit. I've read about your entire story. Now I'm ready to plan a visit. That makes sense. Maybe let me go check out what we believe. Here's our core distinctives. Here's our core beliefs. Discover more. Oh, look, plan a visit. And now I'm planning a visit. Oh, look, I've got maps. I'm learning what to wear. I'm learning what's available for the kids, some FAQs. Let us know you're coming. Okay, yeah, I'll come. And oh, look, I'm planning a visit. It's that simple. So when I say, or I haven't said it, but what I just showed you is making your content bingeable. Again, we're using modern day habits and patterns to point people to Christ, to get people to take a next step with us. And guess what? People love binging. All right. Did you ever get annoyed when Netflix is like, I know I did because I was in college when they started doing this. So I had way too much time, or I didn't use my time wisely. And it would be like, are you still watching? I'm like, yes, I'm still watching. I've only been watching for 90 minutes. Of course I'm still watching. Because I was binging, right? You finish one episode, you go to the next. We live in a binging world. We don't want to come to a dead end. So your website should loop in on itself to where no matter where they are, what they've just learned about you, it should be, are you ready now? It's like a good discipleship strategy. Hey, God saved me and rescued me, and this is how he did. Have you considered following Jesus? Oh, no. Okay. You don't never talk about Jesus to that person again. And it's like, that story has a lot of Christian elements in it. This character is Jesus. It really shows how the allegory of Jesus Christ and what he can do for you in your life, and you continue to make that plea for that person to repent and follow Jesus. You don't ask one time and then never ask again in discipleship. We need to do that on our websites. So every page, and within reason, I mean, obviously if they're submitting a prayer requests, thank them for their prayer request and then say, by the way, we'd love to meet you in person, plan a visit. But this is what I mean when you have a guest journey, you know what people want to do. And then guess what? When they leave your website, they'll know what they should do next at your church. There is no confusion. This church really wants me to come in person. Whereas the old way of doing it is, man, this church really wants me to know about them. Well, now I know about you, and I'm still not planning a visit because that's not the goal. That shouldn't be the goal. If that is your goal, then all you're going to do is get people learning about you and not actually showing up to church. So you want to make your content bingeable for people. So let me repackage that, and then we'll get on with our Tuesday here. Because I got a lot to do. I just recorded a video right before this. I got to send it to someone auditing their website. So you want to stop throwing everything up and waiting for someone to pick something. Hope is a big part of our faith, should not be part of our website strategy. You want to make sure that you're treating your website like a guide to the one thing you want them to do, not the one thing you want them to know, the one thing you want them to do. You're going to make that the single option of something to do on your homepage. Plan a visit, check out small groups, worship online. Those are the three big ones. And so you'll embed that throughout your homepage. If you want specifics on that, go to navachurchwebsite.com. You can download my homepage framework. You can see what that looks like. And then you want to make your content bingeable. When someone has learned something about your church, invite them to plan a visit. Invite them to see what Sundays is like. Invite them to join you in person. Okay, so when they click off to your leaders, hey, Pastor Victor, he likes to hunt and fish. Cool. Meet Pastor Victor on Sunday. Yeah, plan a visit. They learn about your kids' ministry. Pre-register your child for Sunday. Cool. They worship online. Join us in person next Sunday. They go to the contact page. Again, I don't know if you need this on the contact page, but let's just go all out. Contact us. Call us, email us, submit this form. Leave us a message. They send a message. Thank you. Your message has been received. We will reply to you within the next 48 hours. In the meantime, we'd love it if you joined us on Sunday. And if you're getting tired of asking people to join you on Sunday, those people are probably just figuring it out that that's the next thing they should do. When you get tired of talking about Jesus, that's probably when people are starting to get the idea that Jesus is something worth talking about. We get tired of it on our side by the time someone just starts picking it up on the other side of the door. So go to navachurchwebsite.com. Get my homepage framework. Like and subscribe if you like this video. If you didn't like it, please dislike it, because I don't want to talk about things that no one wants to talk about. And tell me why you disliked it. Leave a comment. Do you hate my shirt? You hate Under Armour? Do you hate Jesus? You hate the church? You've been burned by church? I want to know. I want to pray for you. If you liked it, tell me why you liked it. Thank you all for watching. Next week we're going to have interviews in the next 2 weeks, I think. Talking about website and communications, what's working for other churches. I will always share what's working for our clients, but I want to talk to more people about what's working for them, because there may be something that I'm missing that they are finding, and it may be an encouragement to you. So like and subscribe wherever you're watching this. Spotify too. We're doing this on podcast video as well. If you're doing the audio, I encourage you to watch the video so you can see the examples. And God bless you all, and I'll see you all next week.
That's going to do it for today's episode of the Best Known Church Show with Justin Nava. Be sure to subscribe to stay updated on the latest news, strategies, and resources that you need to reach 10x more people and become the best known in your community. to send us a message or leave a voicemail for Justin to be played on a future show, visit thebestknownchurchshow.com. And if you'd like to work with us so you can focus on your ministry, give us a call at 832-861-7654. Until next time, stay outrageous, unreasonable, and relentless.